I was asked if I could post more videos about my trading, like how I interpret price action. So here we go. First things first, we want to come into the Tradecraft journal and tagging software. If you're interested in this software, link in the description below. This is my own proprietary journal that I've built. We're going to come into the equity curve. This is the current day, so March 24th, 2025, which I'm filming same day. MFE, MAE line. So right here, you can see how much a trade went against me, and this is how far the trades went in my favor. The first trade entry, we did have the trade go against us $450. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to click on this. It'll take me right to this point in the journal. And as far as the trades go, the first one was 1850, which is just over 12 ticks. The second trade was worth 4 ticks. Trade 3, 1 tick. This one was a 5-tick loss. And then finally, we have a 6-tick win. The day came out to 27.50. Let's go back in. So I just want to showcase something new. You can expand and collapse certain areas on the journal to get more room. Let's come down to the screenshots, which are going to be extremely important. So right where these red and green lines are, this is a range, and that range is spanning from here to here. The range is currently breaking out in this region. Now, typically, when a range breaks out, it goes about the body width. The body width of this would be about 73 ticks. This is a modified Fibonacci tool. So we can predict that it'll go about this high right here, and we're currently here. However, when we look at the price action back over here, it's very choppy in this area. So due to the nature of this chop, there could be areas that defend or pivot this up move. This wouldn't be a reclaim assisted breakout of a range. If you're unfamiliar with reclaims, I have a video on it, and I have plenty of like big trades where I go over reclaim assisted breakouts on this channel. Those will not be in the description below because I'm not sure which ones those are. But what that basically means is I want to see just a complete down move like this, and I want to see it just a hard move spanning a pretty far distance, which will help the breakout run further. So my thinking at this point is we're breaking out, we're going to run up, but I do believe that there could be some problems. Some of you may be wondering, why the fuck are you looking at high time frame shit if you're picking up, you know, a couple of points on a trade? Well, that's because I want to know which way the wind is blowing. I scalp. Scalping works for me. It works for other traders, I know. And getting your high time frame read down just right is very helpful, because if you're too zoomed in as a scalper, you're not going to realize what's happening when you have these radical regime shifts in the way price action is behaving. So here's the second screenshot on the trade. So we have white boxes are reclaims. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 reclaims, and they're not being retraced. So that's telling me on the 30-second chart, which you can see up here, I like to put what time frame I'm looking at on my charts, so that way when I go through my book of charts on the Tradecraft software, I know what time frames I'm looking at. So again, we got these 1, 2, 3, 4s. Those are reclaims not being retraced. The price action is leaving naked reclaims behind. Next, we have these things, what I call struggle grinds. You can see how the price action is slanting downward, and then it went up off of this 3. It's slanting downward right here. That is a repeated pattern. So in my opinion, they're struggle grinding low. Therefore, they're probably going to puke up. You could see the struggle grind right here in this video footage. I'm drawing it out. And then we get set up on 6 because it's starting to puke out of this struggle grind. Now, for me, this is somewhat of an aggressive entry. And I'm not going to let these trades play out. If you want to see the full narration, which I'm actually coaching a prop trader in this, so you can hear him talking, and I'm talking to him live during the session. Just join the coffee if you want to see that. I'm just going over price action in this video, so we're going to just kind of fast forward through this shit. So I hold this thing, and then you can see it's iceberging up here. Since it's iceberging so aggressively, I decided to get out of it. I wanted to hold it a little bit longer into the 10s, but the iceberg was so aggressive, I decided to cut it. Here's another screenshot before the trade you saw, 1 and 2. 2 struggle grinds on a higher time frame range break. So just keep in mind there's a higher time frame range break on the 30-minute. Again, this is a 10-second. So repeating patterns. And since we're leaving reclaims behind, that means there's currently a trend. Obviously, there's a trend on the 30-minute, but when you're looking at 10-second, 3-second charts, even though we're in an uptrend overall on a high time frame, there could be a downtrend, which is a pullback. However, it could be like 15, 20, 25 points, which is big, and that can really blow a trader out. A trader of my size, that could be tens of thousands of dollars. So this is why I scalp. I want to keep things tight. I don't want to sit in a trade forever and take on uber amounts of risk. Just because a high time frame says uptrend, the low time frame could be saying downtrend. So I want to keep track of these things. Just so you can see the tags on it, these are currently the tags that I marked for the trade. I gave it a green star, meaning it's a perfect trade. The next trade is a yellow star, so this is saying I should have did something better. I should have held more. Let's go ahead and collapse that. This is actually an interesting trade. So here's those struggle grinds. There's one behind my head. I'll make myself disappear. So you might remember this is where I went long, right up in this region. There's the 10s right here. This is roughly where I exited that first trade. We ended up putting another struggle grind in. This one looks a little weird. It's a little skinnier. So far there's 3 of these struggle grinds or downward sloping channels. Some people call them bull flags. Now up in this area, the pattern is changing. What you can see is there's an up thrust right there. So that bear flag, or I don't call it that, I call it a struggle grind. That pattern is changing. So when I see a shift in pattern, that's telling me that there could be a shift where the market might start dumping in. We'll go to the next screenshot. By the way, the prior one was a 10-second. As you can see up here, this says 3S for 3-second. Now look at the 1. So you see the 1 and then there's an up arrow here. Right here it says struggle grind up. You see the 2 and then there's a down arrow. That's all 1 unit. That is struggle grind down. So what's happening is on the first one, it has a downward slant and then it pukes up. On the second one, it has an upward run and then it pukes low. The third one here, it ends up going up, but it just goes sideways. Number 4 here, it goes up with a puke down, and then I take trade 5. So since it's saying up, down, sideways, down, what that's telling me is the struggle grinds are starting to have random movements. So they're kind of puking different directions or going sideways. But what we can see here is I have a down and a down. So 2 of them have been downs, and then I go short here. Now, if we remember in that last screenshot, I said there's a change of pattern up here. So as I stated before, the market might start to go down. So there's kind of a range up here, and since there's a change of pattern as I showed in the prior screenshot, I believe they're going to start going down. So there's multiple things going on here. Here it is on the hard right edge. We get in it at 1150. It starts dicking around a lot, so the price action does fuck around. I need to be a little more patient on it. I did want to go into 10, but I'm being very cautious, so I get out just at 1050 for a point. So I have a screenshot here where it says ME, which means my entry, MX is my exit, and IX is ideal exit. So it's showing where I got in, where I got out, and where I should have ideally went. I should have picked up a few extra ticks. Now, the way I trade, a tick or 2 makes a huge difference. So if we look at the main numbers on my Tradecraft software, again, link in the description if you're interested in this. When we look at my raw P&L, the average trade is only just over 2 ticks, which there's 553 trades in this journal. The average win's about 5 ticks. Same with the average loss. Now, those numbers don't mean jack shit. Okay? It's averaging 553 trades. If we look at the entire equity curve, throw on some markers, I mean, you have some decent sized trades like this one that was worth 10 grand. There's a video on it. And what you got to understand is I was trading this journal when VIX was really low and there wasn't much volatility, and now there's high VIX. So I'm getting bigger trades and they're starting to average out on that statistic. So as far as like risk to reward goes, it's just dependent on price action. And just because my average trade size looks small doesn't mean that is what's happening on the day to day. So let's go back and we'll go ahead and look at trade 3 here. So there's one screenshot. Things are changing drastically in here. So there's something called a slip range setting up, and what I'm going to need to do is rewind it. So I'm going to expand the video, and Tradecraft, if you're streaming to YouTube, the software knows where the timestamps in your video are. So you just simply upload it, and you can stream unlisted or privately, so nobody sees your sessions. But this is a great way to access all your trades in video format quickly. So what I elected to do was rewind a lot. So this is roughly where we took that short, if I'm not mistaken. And now things have changed. You can see this yellow box right here. This is a slip range. Again, if you're not familiar with what a slip range is, there's a video link in the description. But basically, we got a reclaim here, a reclaim here. They keep retracing it. A reclaim here, they retrace it, and then the reclaim here. So what's going on in this specific area, right where I'm drawing this box, is the price action has shifted. The pattern of the price action has shifted from us going up and then struggle grinding and then ripping up. And again, the pattern shifted back here as we saw in earlier trades. And now it is reshifting into a slip range, as you can see here. So this is a range, and you better be careful if you don't understand what a slip range is. These are the types of things where you're going to go short here and it's just going to blast your ass out one direction, and then you go long here and then it blasts you hard for over 5 points, 10 points, 15 points, depends how big it is. I just know that's a slip range. Coming back into the screenshot, this is further in the future at this point, and there's quite a bit of technicalities going on in here. First and foremost, on number 5, I'm pointing out the broader slip range. Number 3 right here is a smaller slip range. Number 1, we have a struggle grind, and then you can see it rips up. Number 2, we have a struggle grind, and then we can see it rips down. Number 3, slip range. And number 4, it starts to struggle grind, and I go long in this section. So why am I doing this? Well, again, still going to be long biased overall, as long as the micro price action is supporting it. Remember what I said, the 30-minute range is breaking out. Since the slip range spans a vast amount of territory, I do believe we're going to go through it up to the edge, especially since it's compressing in square 3. Typically, when there's a range, the price action likes to get stuck on one side and then it goes to the other side. You never get really super duper clean ranges without some fuckery going on one edge versus the other. This is why mean reversion trades are tricky. However, what we do also know is we're staying below the midpoint of the slip range. Typically, when something stays below the midpoint, it's baking in the oven, and then there will be a point where it might go. Another thing with this area is it's staying down here for roughly 20 minutes. A lot of the prior price action we saw where it gets stuck, it's been getting stuck around that 20-minute mark. So I do know that during this session, price action gets stuck and chops around for around 20 minutes before it makes any decent move. So the way the price action chops or doesn't or shakes around, I take into consideration, and that's going to be really hard to show you guys because each day has its own flavor. As my prop trader Chronic, at some point I plan on having him on the show. He can explain what that is to you guys. That's just not a video for today. We're talking about price action. But the way I get into it and hold it and shit. There's another video called How I Make Trading Decisions, I believe. You need to go watch that. That really goes hand in hand with this. Link in the description. So at this point, I'm looking to get in the fucking thing because the struggle grind up in this region seems like it's gonna go. It does become a bit problematic. It doesn't quite run as well as I thought. Now my prop trader is also long at 925. I'm getting out for a tick. He's working a break even on the thing, which I told him you shouldn't do. I think it's important that you at least try to get a tick, because if you guys are going for break evens or holy shit. Man, I smelled something burning. I left something on the stove this entire fucking time. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, what I was trying to say is, you know, if you're going, you want to be getting a tick or two instead of going for fucking break evens or one tick losses all the time if the trade is failing. If the trade is failing, it really does make a difference if you try to get something for it. So that's what I end up doing is I work out of this thing for a tick. I'm getting like partial fills and shit, so I have to like finesse the size. It was a green star trade, so here's the tags on it, which means good trade. Trade 4, here's the tags on that. We'll pause it, look at the screenshot. So right in here is where we originally went for it. And now, at this point, I do believe that we are making a slip range right here, which would be dead center of the bigger slip range. So if you have a slip range and it's centered up on a bigger slip range, like a small one on a big one, typically it's really clean trades, really good clean scalps. So you can see me drawing the thing. I'm like, dude, it's going long, it's going long. I know it's going long. I just felt really good about it. It does initially work. I'm not trying to get much out of it. Maybe 1075s, 11s, potentially. More than 2 ticks. And now it's not working and it just slips right through my fucking fingers here. Again, we're not going to watch the whole thing. But it starts to come up and I go for a 5 tick loss because I thought I could get a break even on it, but due to the nature of it rolling right here, I'm like, this does not look good. A lot of what I'm looking at is starting to fail. This pattern is no longer working. It's still, for me, a green star trade. It's still a good trade. It was worth it, even though I lost. And then finally, we pick up 900 bucks. It's a yellow star trade. I should have held it for more, a lot more. Which, this is a try too. So the trade you just watched, we're going for it a second time. So it comes down. Again, I believe they're going to go across this box right here because it's stayed down for so long. Maybe it's been 20 minutes at this point. What I said earlier may have been off. I sometimes get some of this shit mixed up. But anyways, you had the struggle grind up on number 1, struggle grind down, 2, 3, struggle grind down, and it pukes. So this struggle grind kind of slants up. So you're having one slant up, one slants down, this slants up. This one also slants up. So I do believe they're going to push it to get across. It's been embedded for a period under the midpoint of the full slip range, which is the yellow box. So we go for it. Now, at this point, my heart's beating. I'm a little nervous and shit. I'm skittish. I'm trying to preserve profits. And I'm a little aggressive because I want to recoup that loss I just took. So we hit in right here and then it kind of dicks around at this point. I'm like, it's going to go up. It's going to go up. I draw it. I don't say it exactly like that. I'm talking to my prop trader. Again, the full narration of this is on the coffee as well as a review of it with the actual trader. So it starts to go up. I want to recoup what I got. Bankroll out. I have a video on bankroll management. You should go check it out. Link in the description. However, I knew that there was a good chance this could continue. You can see my entry was down here. My exit was here. And ideally, I should have wrote it up to where this wedge was. And this is a 10-second chart, more zoomed out. And we can see when I get rid of my head, the first trade was performed here. And then every trade for the session was performed up until this point. So we took 5 trades navigating all this price action. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Check out Tradecraft. It's a badass software. A lot of people are finding how to get better in their trading with it. And until the next video, I'll see you later.